Tonight on Connecticut's news station.
It's a huge loss. You don't get a lot of cops like him.
The entire state mourning the loss of a Hartford police officer killed on the job late last night. We have the full details on what happened.
As the officers neared the Accord, it accelerated and fled the stop at a high rate of speed.
And more on how the law enforcement community is coming together to honor a second-generation police officer taken far too soon.
I think if you ask anybody in the police department about him, they'll say he was the guy that was always smiling.
And we do begin tonight with the tragic loss of a Hartford police officer killed late last night by a driver fleeing police. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. The entire state is in mourning after the death of Hartford police officer Bobby Garton. The other officer involved in that crash, Brian Kearney, is still hospitalized at St. Francis Hospital.
Now, Officer Garton was an 8-year veteran of the force, remembered by his brothers in blue as the guy who was always smiling. He started as a walking beat officer, served in the patrol and marine divisions before tackling the tall task of street crimes unit. Garton was a second-generation police officer, his father serving the capital city for years as a police detective.
The crash happened last night on Asylum Avenue. Police tell us 18-year-old Richard Barrington ran a red light while fleeing from police on Broad Street, ultimately crashing into a police cruiser with both officers inside. All day, there's been an outpouring of love and support from law enforcement in all corners of the state, including a procession you see here on I-84 this afternoon. That procession carrying Officer Garton's body from the state medical examiner's office to Wethersfield.
Connecticut's news station has full team coverage tonight. DeAndrea Turner will join us in just a few moments to talk about how the community is reacting to this tragic loss. But first, we want to send things out to Fox 61's Gabby Molina. She has the latest details from the Hartford Police Department tonight. Gabby.
Brent and Sarah, we haven't gotten an update tonight on the injured officer's condition, but we were told that he does remain in the hospital. Here outside of the Hartford Police Department, you can see behind me that there's been a huge outpouring of support here as people pay their respects to the fallen officer.
And I hope I can keep him in our hearts for a long time.
A show of support for the Hartford Police Department, now mourning one of their own. On a very somber Thursday evening, people came to the capital city to leave flowers and pay their respects to Officer Robert Bobby Garton.
We wish them all well. We're sorry for their loss, but hopefully as a community we can gather around them and be here to support them like they support us.
The 34-year-old was a passenger in a police cruiser heading to a call just before 10:30 Wednesday night. Officer Brian Kearney was driving through an intersection on Asylum Avenue when police say a man fleeing a traffic stop hit their cruiser.
At the time of the incident, the North Street Crimes units were not aware that a vehicle had just fled a traffic stop.
Police say 18-year-old Richard Barrington was behind the wheel and was stopped for a canceled registration. Exclusive surveillance video from Broad Street shows the moment he was pulled over and then drives off. Barrington, a high school junior, was arraigned Thursday, ordered a $1 million bond, and is now facing several charges.
Our charges here in Hartford are failure to obey a traffic control signal, failure to renew registration, misuse of plates, and interfering with a police officer.
Hartford police grieving the loss of their colleague and friend while continuing to work for the city they say Garton loved.
They continue to serve our city. They're going out there to do a hard and important job, and they're kind of carrying a lot of grief.
But with the community to lean on.
Thank you for them to keeping our town safe.
Now, as for the investigation into the deadly crash, state police has taken that over. We just saw a couple of officers walk in with some canines just to show you how much of a support this department is getting. Actually, they're standing right outside here in front of that police cruiser. Even here at 10 o'clock at night, we're still continuing to see support. This particular officer coming from Simsbury. For now, live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Yeah, very poignant scene there. So it is a somber night here across the capital city as people continue to mourn the loss of Officer Garton.
But as tragedy hit, so did support from across the entire state, as we're seeing. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner joins us in studio tonight with more on how people across the region are showing up in solidarity. DeAndrea.
Well, Sarah and Brant, this is the first time in 26 years that Hartford police have lost an officer in the line of duty. Now support from across the region is pouring in as they mourn the loss of one of their own and pray for full recovery of their brother still in the hospital.
Remembered for his infectious smile.
I think if you ask anybody in the police department about him, they'll say he was the guy that was always smiling.
And love for his job.
This is what he talked about, this job. So he was a great man.
Hearts are broken at Hartford Police Department and across the state as they mourn the loss of Hartford police officer Robert Bobby Garton.
He served this city with courage and compassion and tremendous skill and dedication.
The 8-year Hartford police veteran was killed Wednesday night after a crash following an attempted traffic stop. Garton died at the hospital while his partner, Officer Brian Kearney, is still there. At Hartford Police Headquarters, flowers, black bunting, and photos of Officer Garton placed outside. A sea of red and blue lights leading the hearse carrying Officer Garton's body from the office of the Chief Medical Examiners to the DeSopo Funeral Home in Wethersfield. Dozens of officers and police vehicles of all shapes and sizes trailed behind to pay their respects.
I've spoken to many chiefs and we'll all be supporting the Hartford Police Department.
Across social media, this tragedy drawing support from across the region, like New Haven Police, who lost one of their own in an on-duty crash last year.
We're sending peer support members. We're sending our comfort dog. I told Chief Thodey and Chief Howell that we will do whatever they need.
Standing in solidarity amongst tragedy.
We will miss a great officer and a great man.
And Governor Lamont has ordered for all flags to be at half-staff to honor the officer. They will remain at half-staff until his funeral arrangements. In the studio, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, DeAndrea. The 18-year-old that police say caused the fatal crash was arraigned in court today. Richard Barrington was initially pulled over by Hartford police on Broad Street. Police say they checked his license plate and found his registration was canceled. When officers approached his car, he allegedly sped off, ultimately blowing a red light and colliding with the police cruiser. He's now facing a litany of charges, including failure to obey a traffic control signal.
Reports that he's a full-time student in the 11th grade. He has no criminal history on file, no pending cases, no convictions. However, as the state stated, this resulted in a serious incident.
The judge did say there's a concern for public safety, so Barrington's bond has been set at $1 million. He's expected to appear in court again in 3 weeks.
In the wake of Officer Garton's death, local leaders have chosen to postpone this weekend's Greater Hartford Puerto Rican Day Parade and Festival. The annual event was going to take place on Sunday, with the parade winding through the capital city and ending at Bushnell Park for the annual Festival de Coquille. But leaders agreed it was important to put the celebration of culture off to allow the police department and its members the time they need to heal from this terrible tragedy.
It's not about us, it's not about waving our flag, it's not about celebrating, it's not about making noise because we are very loud. It's mostly about staying together as a community, and the police department is part of our community. They are one of the pillars and core fundamental pieces of our community.
The police department is grateful for the decision that you made today. They lost a friend, a colleague, a family member. Many of our police officers were standing vigil at St. Francis Hospital all through the night last night and have been working all through the day today.
Now, there is no official date for when the parade and festival will take place, but Mayor Bronin says the city will support parade and festival organizers in the planning and logistics for the rescheduled date.
We'll have continuing coverage as we remember the service and sacrifice of Officer Bobby Garton. Stay with Connecticut's news station on air and on fox61.com or the free Fox 61 News app. We're also streaming anytime on Fox 61 Plus, on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Well, new at 10 tonight, the violence continues in the capital city. Hartford police saying a man is in critical condition tonight after being found shot multiple times. It happened just before 7 tonight on Franklin Avenue. The man, who police say is in his 30s, is in the hospital now. There's no information at this time on a possible suspect in the shooting. Police are still investigating what happened. Time now for a first check of the forecast, and we are officially in a heat wave here in Connecticut. That's no surprise for anyone who's been outside.
Exactly. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. We're getting a break from this heat anytime soon, Rachel.
I mean, we're going to dial it back slightly tomorrow. The temperatures won't be in the 90s, but because it will be even more humid than today, if you can imagine that, we're still going to be sweating. It really won't be until the weekend that we start to nudge the numbers down even further. But yes, this is the third day in a row in the 90s. And not only that, but one of the hottest days of summer too. We did not get one 90+ degree day at all last month. So a heat advisory remains in effect through Friday, but now just for Hartford, Tolland, and Windham counties, where a heat index tomorrow could get up above 95 degrees. Taking a look at the current temperatures right now, we're in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. There were a line of showers and thunderstorms. Look at it approaching and mostly missing, although quite a lightning show, especially for our friends in the hills. And there's a follow-up round. Most of that should miss Connecticut as well, but could just clip parts of far northwestern Connecticut tonight. Low temperatures tonight in the 70s once again. We'll start the day off tomorrow, though, with more cloudiness. There could even be some areas of fog or mist to begin the day. And then we'll see some midday sunshine. High temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 80s. Some towns might get close to 90, but come just short. And then there is a chance for a scattered shower or thunderstorm, especially later in the day and into the evening. We'll talk more about that, your full forecast, and our weekend thoughts coming up.